feel so loud. Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a very bookish video. I've seen a lot of these books where creators do like just very book related things, and I am a reader. I've been a reader since I was very young, so I was like, I'm gonna do that. Especially because I was kind of in a reading slump for a while. I went to my local public library to get books, and I am trying to promote don't buy books. You can just take them out of your local library. Support your libraries because they're one of the last third places left. So I figured I'd do a book haul, and then I do a vlog like reading some of the books and talking about them. So yeah. The first book that I got Fox 8 by George Saunders because one of my professors in college recommended that I read one of his books, Lincoln in the Bardo, but that book is like really dense and it's really long, and so I wanted something kind of easier to start out with of his to read, and so I got this one. It's really a lot shorter than that. It's like 48 pages. So I thought it'd be an easier way to get into his books before I read Lincoln in the Bardo. So I have that. And then I got this manga that I wanted to try called Cat Gamer. It just seemed cute. It's about a gamer who takes in a cat and tries to raise it. So I thought that'd be adorable because I love gaming and I love cats. Therefore, I should love this book, right? And then I got this Sally Rooney book, which is Beautiful World, Where Are You? Now, I know Normal People, and I actually haven't read Normal People. I've been meaning to read it, and I looked in the library for Normal People, but it was checked out. And I saw this instead, and it's a new book. And so I was like, I might as well try it though, right? Because I only hear good things about Sally Rooney. So this is going to be my first foray into Sally Rooney. It's going to be really exciting. And then I got A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. This is another book that I got a lot of books that like I've been meaning to try to read for a while, and I just haven't like looked into it or read them yet. And so, or like gotten the chance to yet. I don't know why. And this one my partner read the series and loved it. And I've also just been meaning to read V.E. Schwab because I know V.E. Schwab is really popular. I was like, I just haven't gotten around to it yet. So I was like, here's my chance. Here is my chance to read V.E. Schwab and give my opinion. I know everyone wants to hear it from me. Next up we have, I don't know, I found this and I thought it was funny. It's, oh my gosh, now that I look on the back, babe.
What?
In this series, Leah Bardugo wrote a Wonder Woman book for this series.
Oh my god.
In case you know, Leah Bardugo, the queen, wrote Six of Crows series, which is amazing. I recommend to read if you haven't read it before. Anyways, I kind of got this book as like Sarah J. Maas, as most people probably know, wrote the Throne Glass series, and I enjoy the Throne Glass series, but like ironically, like it's like when you watch, I don't want to say it's like when you watch a car crash though, because I don't enjoy watching car crashes, but it's like watching, I don't know what to compare it to. It's like so bad it's funny. That's how I feel about Sarah J. Maas books. And so I figured this be a nice, fun, funny thing for me to read. So I thought this would be fun. Fun. And then I got Ruth Ozeki, The Book of Form and Emptiness. I read Ruth Ozeki's book, A Tale for the Time Being, like a year or two ago, and I loved it. It was a 5-star read for me. I absolutely ate it up. And I was like, I would love to read even more Ozeki. And I saw this, and I was like, I'm going to be reading it. The only thing is, if this is anything like A Tale for the Time Being, it's going to be very heavy, and so I need to be in the right mood and mindset to read it, which is my only concern with this book. And then this next book, I also don't remember the Everything box. Honestly, my partner found this book and thought I would like it, and so I just picked it up because I trust that she knows what I like. So that's where this book came from. And then I have The Frugal Wizard's Handbook for Surviving Medieval England by Brandon Sanderson. I've tried to read Brandon Sanderson before. It's just that his books are so long. And I haven't read that many long books before. I've read 1Q84 by... Oh my god, why am I blanking on his name? I literally love his writing. Babe, who wrote 1Q84?
Oh,
Murakami. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. I read 1Q84 by Murakami. That's like the only book I really read of that length. Besides, Sour J Maas, of course. But those two are... Anyways, I just haven't... There's very few books that can keep me for that many pages like Murakami can. And I figured this would be a better book because it's not really like, it's not necessary to read his other books. I think it's a lot shorter. Yeah. It's like just short of 400 pages, which is a lot more doable than the 1,000 pages that his books usually are. And not only are they 1,000 pages, usually they're 1,000 pages and they're like, let's say this is the plot arc of his books. The first book, you go up to here. Like, you still have to get up to here to get up to the highest point of conflict. And you still have all this. So really, the book is like, it's not even a third of a series, it's a third of a book. So you need to read 3,000 pages to really finish a book. And that's just a lot, There has to be, there's a very specific kind of person that can read that way. And one day maybe I'll be able to do it, but I don't know. So maybe this will be my first chance at getting into Brandon Sanderson. Because I've always been meaning to. Because I really like fantasy, and I read a lot of fantasy. I know this is, high fantasy, but I'm I feel like I should like high fantasy, though. Because I love fantasy. Yeah, so that's why I got this book. And then the final book I got is Jennifer Weiner's Big Summer. This is another book I've been meaning to read for a while. Just a light summer romance. And if you see right here, boop, I've already started reading it. I'm already over halfway through it. Yeah, I'm on page 211. And there's just over 300 pages of it. I'm kind of scared though because I've really loved it so far and I've been eating it up. I think I started it yesterday. Yeah. So I've read it pretty fast. I started yesterday, but I've heard that people don't like the second half of the book because it changes really dramatically from the first half of the book. So I'm kind of scared I'm going to stop liking it and I'm not going to be able to read it as fast. I'm not going to enjoy it because so far I really loved it. But we're going to see what happens. So we're going to sit here and you can enjoy reading with me. And I can tell you my thoughts about Jennifer Weiner's Big Summer. I don't know if I'm going to finish it tonight, but I'm definitely going to finish it tomorrow. So you can come along with me for that. So I finished the book, Big Summer, by Jennifer Weiner, and I think I really loved it. I think it's a great summer read. I really enjoyed it. I actually didn't hate the second half of the book, where it kind of switches genre. I feel like I just liked it, and I feel like you're not really reading for the romance, in my opinion, because the romance isn't like what's really amazing about the book. I just really love the main character, and I was rooting for her throughout the whole book. And I loved commentary on social media and posting, and how, you know, people are so fake on social media and how it's not all true. It just felt really real and true at some points. 4-star book. Yeah. Big Summer by Jennifer Weiner, but I wouldn't expect it because I think people, I don't know, do people consider this a romance book? I would say it's not a romance book. There's just like, there happens to be romance inside of it, but I didn't read it for the romance. It's not a great romance. It's very rushed, and I feel like the romance isn't the point of the book, you know? Anyways, that is my review of Big Summer. So, for my next book to read, it's now like mid-afternoon because I stopped. I like ate some food. I hung out with my partner a bit before she left for work. And, you know, I walked the dog and stuff. So, yeah, I still have plenty of time in the day though to start another book. I was considering whether to read one of my smaller books, like take a break from the bigger books to read the manga or something, or if I should go right into another book to read. I think next I want to start Brandon Sanderson's A Frugal Wizard's Guide to Surviving Medieval England, I think is the full title. First, I say I'll make some lunch and eat, because I have only eaten Pop-Tarts today, and then I'll decide what book I'll start next. So as you saw, I made myself a grilled cheese. Oh, it's really hot. You wait for it to cool off before I can pick it up and eat it. I think I decided that I'm just gonna start the Wizard's Handbook for Surviving Medieval England, because I don't know, it just seems really interesting. So I'm just gonna eat this here grilled cheese sandwich I made, and then we're gonna start reading it now while we're eating, because you can eat and read at the same time, which is great. I love that. So it's been a few days. I'm not gonna lie, it's been like a week I think, but I finally finished Frugal Wizard's Handbook for Surviving Medieval England by Brandon Sanderson. So I can finally give my thoughts. Honestly, it took me so long because it just takes a bit to get into this book, I feel like. We started with a character who has lost their entire memory, and so part of it is that like you're following this character who learning who they are and figuring out who they are, but I honestly, because of that, just wasn't very invested in them as a character and like what they were trying to do at the beginning, because I didn't know who they were. and I wasn't super invested in them or their personality at the beginning. I honestly found it kind of annoying. It was cute and funny at the beginning, how they rate everything, but by, I think, 20 pages in, I was sick of it. So yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of the main character. Right around like passing like 100 pages, I started reading really fast and getting really into it, around like 120 especially and 150. But also around then, they introduced a character who came to England because in this time period that this book is set in England, they believe in like polytheism. And so this guy comes basically to bring them like monotheism, and it feels very like, ooh, the Catholic missionary vibes, except he's portrayed as like a good guy and being like smarter than the people on the planet, because he's like, look, he's like, you guys can have fun and actually do things to enjoy them, and like your gods are awful and they're not forgiving and they just want to beat you up. And yeah, that wasn't the best depiction, I feel like, in the middle of the book. And then my partner pointed out to me that the main character's entire character arc too is basically, which also didn't make me like him a lot, was basically that he hated himself and he was an awful person, but learning that like he didn't have to be defined by his past mistakes, and he, you know, could be a different person now in this realm. And I was talking to my partner about it. I was like, I don't know what's bothering me about the book though. And she's like, it's like a Christ-like figure, you know? It's like, oh my God, you're right. It's giving God forgiving people for their sins. And so I had this moment where I was like, did Brandon accidentally input his Mormonism into this? Because, like, I knew before I started reading this book that Brandon Sanderson is a Mormon, but I read this Mistborn trilogy. Is it a trilogy? I don't know. I didn't read all the Mistborn books, but I read them as a kid. I never noticed anything like that. Like, and I started reading one of his, like, bigger adult things. I only got 300 pages into it, which may seem like a lot, but when his books are 1,000 pages, that isn't a lot of the book. And I didn't see anything like that in there, so I figured he wasn't like, and he seems chill, like he doesn't seem like he's trying to force his Mormonism onto anyone. So I honestly feel like it was kind of accidental that this happened in this book. It's like but the one guy is really atrocious in the book. The one character who's like trying to bring monotheism, it gave me such an ick, but thankfully he's not in the story long, so I still finished it though, because like I said, he wasn't in the story for that long, which is the only redeeming factor about his character, was that he wasn't in the story for that long. Yeah, overall, I feel like I less read for the characters and stuff like that. Well, at least I really liked one of the characters. I feel like I was reading for her, the main female protagonist. Yeah, I feel like, well, she's not the protagonist. She's like, you know, a co-protagonist. She's like the helper aid protagonist. I was mainly reading for her, and also the plot was really interesting, especially once you get around the 150 mark. Like I said, you start figuring out everything that's happening. You're like, oh, how is he gonna solve, you know, the big end problem at the end? Like, I love to see how authors lay those out and solve them, and I'll say Brandon didn't disappoint in that fashion. Some plot twists that got me, not all of them, but there were some that got me. And I consider myself pretty good at foreseeing plot twists since I've read so many books. But yeah, there were some that got me. So I'd say, I don't know when I'm going to end up reading this book though, because it just gave me the ick for such a long period of time while reading it. There was so much ick in it, but also it's pretty good. I can see why this is Brandon Sanderson's lowest rated book, but now that I've read it, I may try like Trust of the Emerald Sea or something else. I don't know. But yeah, oh, and my main problem with this book, I didn't even talk about my actual main problem with this book, is that it feels like this book is written like a YA book. Like, it feels very YA. I don't know what about the writing, just feels very YA. Like, it's giving Percy Jackson series, which is fine, except the jokes are giving adult. Like, there's a joke about Californication in this book. Can I say that on YouTube? Am I gonna get demonetized from saying Californication? Why do I keep saying it? I should stop saying it. I'm gonna have to bleep all these out, aren't I? Anyways, there's a few jokes in here. There's quite a lot that's really adult in this book, but yet the writing feels YA, and so there's a very, like, disconnect between those two. And I forget, I think this was in the adult section, though. So, but also his other adult book that I started reading, I forgot what it's called, don't ask me. It was one of his 1,000-page books. Like, felt very adult, and I read Mistborn, like I said, when I was a kid, and that felt very YA. So I don't know what happened with this book. It felt like he just didn't know what he wanted it to be. As a result, the book as a whole really suffers, I feel like, for that indecision as to who his main audience is. So yeah, I feel like that was my main issue with it, not the ick. Although the ick is pretty high up there, I'd say. I don't know what I'd give this. Maybe 3 stars? I'd consider giving it 3 stars. I can see why some people like this book. I don't know, like, I enjoyed the plot and stuff like that, but like some things about it just gave me the ick, and I can't change those things. So anyways, now that we're done with this, I have to move on to my next book. And I figured I'd read like 2 more books in this vlog or something. I'm not sure, to be honest. I probably won't get through all the books I read at the library. No, I definitely won't get through all the books I read that I got from the library that I showed you at the beginning of this vlog. But I'm definitely going to get through a decent portion of them. So, and honestly, I'm sorry for the big break. It's just that so many things happened. My partner went to the hospital. It was this whole thing. Anyways, so I decided for my next book, hold on, wait, I don't have it, let me get it. I decided I would read Sally Rooney's Beautiful World, Where Are You Next? And I'm only like 20 pages in, but I'm really enjoying the book so far. I am so enjoying Sally Rooney's writing style. It's so unique and so contemplative, and yeah, I'm really enjoying that about her so far. And I can already tell she has such a unique, distinct voice that I love. So I'm really excited to keep reading this book. So yeah, that's where we're up to, guys. So I finally finished the final book in this reading vlog, which is, I was going to say Normal People, Beautiful World, Where Are You? By Sally Rooney. Sally Rooney. I adored this book. It's such a good book to end this reading vlog on because it's an easy 5 stars. Once it picks up, I was so addicted to the writing and the characters and literally everything about this book that, like, I couldn't stop reading it. Like, I struggled to put this book down, and it's amazing. I don't say, I feel like I've only read one Sally Rooney book. Now I want to read more for sure. She feels like the queen of showing and not telling, which from the reviews I saw this book is a lot of people's main problem, is that they say you don't get a lot of depth in the characters and their relationships, but I feel like the point of Sally Rooney and the way she writes is the fact that all of her depth comes through her showing about the characters and their actions. She never explicitly tells you how they're feeling or how they're feeling about anything or anything like that. And instead, you just need to figure it out based on visual cues. And it's a very unique style of writing, but I really fell in love with it over time. It's definitely something you need to get used to after a while. And it's definitely something where you need to stay engaged with the book the whole time, you know, otherwise you'll miss like little things to tell how the characters are feeling. But I just really fell in love with them, and I just felt like such an honest story about 4 people, and I loved how none of them were perfect. You know, like they all had flaws, and so they felt like real people. I feel like sometimes people try to make their characters too perfect, and it's not believable then. And these characters, I actually liked them because I felt like they were genuine people expressing like their genuine emotions that they were feeling, and through expressing those emotions they end up hurting one another, you know? And I feel like that's a really like natural way of existing in the world, you know? Like, I feel like it's not normal to expect that you'll never hurt someone and that, you know, everything will be perfect in life and that these people expect to be perfect. And speaking of which, because of that though, like the third act conflict in this book, which kind of exists, I think, between the two couples, feels very natural because of that, because they just feel like such natural, real people. Because of that, the third act conflict feels so natural and real and not really shoot in, and it just felt like the height of the conflict. Like, it felt like we were just building up, and I was like ready for it. I feel like this is one of the first romance, like, I guess it's technically not it's technically not romance, it's contemporary fiction, but I feel like the romance in this book doesn't feel like it was forced at all in any way. It just feels so natural and so like real people that it's crazy. So yeah, I definitely want to read more Sally Rooney. Oh, and in case you're wondering, the entire theme of this book is the fact that these people are contemplating like whether it's okay for them to focus on their relationships with other people instead of focusing on, you know, all the problems that are going on in the world, like global warming and stuff like that, and like not really worrying about that, instead of focusing on falling in love. They're kind of also critiquing like contemporary romance novels and how they kind of do that, and they ignore all the issues in the world and they kind of just focus on the romance, and it's kind of like a contemplation on that idea of, you know, ignoring greater world problems to have this kind of like small little baby romance. Anyways, so the characters kind of go back and forth. There's some chapters that are just emails where they're just contemplating the state of the world and everything that's happening. So that's the main theme of the book, and I just loved it to death. So Sally Rooney's definitely up there on my list of authors, and I'm so excited to read some more books. I don't know what the video will be next week, but I know it will be something good. Hope if you guys enjoyed this video, you'll like, comment down below if you've read any of these books, if you're excited to read some of these books now, or possibly what you want me to do content on next. Subscribe if you want to see some of my videos in the future. Don't forget about subscribing, and don't forget to recycle. I'll see you guys on the flip side. Bye!